Tiny Tim, English mild.
Ooh.
IPA, lager, saison.
Let's do an IPA.
IPA.
Today's podcast is being sponsored by Forest and Main Brewery.
They're big boys. They're doubles. If that's all right.
Yeah, because
it's Sunday.
Because it's Sunday.
Sunday. Should have worn my Sunday Funday shirt.
One of these?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll do the other double.
Oh, well, if we're all starting with one of those,
Yeah,
I'll start with one of those, too. If you have a third.
I don't.
Oh, then I'm going to do a Tiny Tim then.
I have, everything else is kind of low alcohol.
This is perfect, then.
You want to split it?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you. This is my preferred, but I thought if everyone was diving right in, I didn't want to be there.
You don't want to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
Little secret. It's my first meal of the day.
This is also my first meal of the day.
Perfect. The South Philly way.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
Hello.
Doing great.
Joe Ronca, Pete Baker, first, double guests, and first in person. No, I guess I've had Derek Cataldi here.
Okay,
To do
right
it.
on.
So you're the second and third, but this is all very new. First time with this setup for two. So as I mentioned, I was like stressing so hard about everything that was going on, and now that like I'm doing this double IPA here, I feel good. Like I should have done an edible before we started, but
There's still time.
there is still time. There is still time. You know, it's cool. I always like to think about like what are the connections here before I do them, and a lot of times it's that I don't know the guest. And in this case, Joe, that's kind of like my case with you. Is like I can't even recall you at all. And Pete, I forgot you existed. I swear to God, I forgot.
Wild, yeah.
And when I ran into you, or I guess maybe when I saw you like last year or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we bumped into each other or no, you know what it was? Joe, you and I had talked, and you had mentioned Mike and Pete had talked about the podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Pete, who is? And I looked and I was like, I totally remember this guy. Because, like, no offense, but you have like a Disney character face, like real, like child.
You're right, yeah.
Like child, like you see like a Corey Feldman,
Right.
in a movie. And
Then you hear his voice?
When he's a kid. No,
like,
when
hey!
No, like Corey Feldman when he's a kid, right?
Yeah.
Corey Feldman in Lost Boys or whatever.
Right,
or
right.
like some of those actors, like from when they were 14, look exactly the same when they're like 35.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
just like, holy shit, from like Cub Scouts and baseball. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I was like,
right
and I
on.
totally forgot. And so now we've been bumping into you a few times. So
It's been great,
It
yeah.
only feels right.
Yeah, right on.
Joe, I came to your movie premiere
Yeah,
and didn't even
that
say
was
hello.
awesome.
So that was.
I didn't know you were there.
It was so weird. You know, it was like COVID. So my girlfriend and I like came in. We were all masked up and like sat in the back and like, you know, just kind of like. And I'd never really met you in person. Like you just told me about it. I was like, this sounds cool. Let's go down to Ambler and then we saw it. It was awesome. And then it was my first like movie experience during COVID. Post, you know, I don't know for post COVID, but during COVID. So it's cool. That's the other weird thing, right? We've got two completely different things to talk about here.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah.
So this is going to be on me to navigate this, but to get out of the way, you guys are friends.
Yeah.
Always been friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to think. Do you know what grade we met in? I don't know.
Fifth grade, because
fifth?
I went to Ambler Catholic till fourth,
Okay.
and then Shady Grove, and then that's when I met Joe, like Nick Schultz. I met that year, if you remember Nick Schultz. Yeah.
Nick in fifth grade too.
Yeah.
Did you start? Where did you start? Was it at Shady Grove?
Technically, I did Bluebell for kindergarten.
Okay. Was it that half day kindergarten?
Yeah, it was half day kindergarten at
loved
Bluebell,
that.
and then immediately to Shady Grove because it was almost across the street from my house.
Okay. So you grew up in Whitpain?
Yep, I was like right at the end of the runway of Wings Field.
Oh yeah.
On Dundee Drive.
Yeah. And Pete, you were in Ambler.
I was in Ambler, right off Morris Road, Betsy Lane.
So it's funny. A lot of kids who did the Ambler Catholic route didn't go to Wissahickon until high school.
Yeah.
You left in fourth grade.
Yeah, we left in fourth grade. So I've got an older brother. He's a year older than I, and I think our parents were just like, we got good enough schools. We don't want to pay the tuition anymore. So, and Ambler Catholic went to fourth grade, and then St. Joe's started like the fifth, sixth, seventh grade or something like that. And we're just like, let's just get him into the public school, which was, I approved.
Yeah.
I definitely approved. It was cool though. Like, I I had like the middle school years. So another one of our best friends, Mike Agee.
Yeah.
We met in kindergarten, and we were like brothers. And then I left, and he stayed. And then day one freshman year, Agee Baker, we're sitting next to each other in homeroom. We're like,
Oh, AB.
where the hell have you been? It's like, and then we were still best friends. Like I talked to him
cool.
on my way here today, actually. So
That's cool.
You guys
Yeah.
right next to each other in the yearbook too, or you do?
or
no,
I think he's we're on the same page. I think
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah.
other Bakers too.
There are other
You have
Bakers.
Joel and Melissa.
Oh,
Joel and
that's
Melissa.
right, that's
Yep.
And then you started at Shady Grove, which is always like a bigger school. I always felt I did the transfer from Madison in fourth grade,
Okay.
and I always felt like that was like a much bigger school. How did you find Shady Grove while you were there?
They renovated it while I was there. So I don't know if you remember, Shady Grove had like the dinosaur hallways, had like the
Yeah,
murals.
yeah.
That was all added, I think, the summer. Like we went back to school, I remember, and it was like a whole new,
that's cool.
a whole new school. I remember it being dark inside. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
kind of remember it being like the hallways were kind of dark, and
Grungy.
I can still kind of picture it. I haven't been there,
Right.
you know, 30 years, but
It's funny. Some of my memories of Shady Grove are always like the safety program, because I felt like everyone was a safety.
They had a robot. Do you remember the
I
robot?
do kind of remember a robot.
It was a robot that never worked. It was always in like the library or something
Yeah, it was
like
like
that.
programmed.
Yeah, it was like an Apple IIe programmed or Apple IIGS or something programmed robot that was in the library or something. And it's not like the creepy one at Giant now
Yeah.
that looks at you. You ever see that?
Oh, he like goes around and makes sure
Yeah.
you're not stealing shit.
Make sure there's no spills.
Yeah. Right.
Because all the humans that work there can't be like, oh shit, there's a spill. You know?
I also remember like we used to take class bathroom trips. Like it was always like because you used to walk. I guess you used to walk to like your elective to like art class or music, and
Right.
that was always like the class bathroom trip.
Maybe
And that
they-
was always where I'd feel like I would see like the older kids, and I think your grade kids smoking in the bathroom.
Wait, in Shady
Shady
Grove?
Grove?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Fifth
Man.
graders?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Was it Brian Kosh?
Oh my god!
That sounds about
yes,
right.
That's exactly right. That's funny you said that, because when you said
Wow.
smoking in the
Smoking.
oh my god, that's
Is that what
really
you
funny.
thought?
I couldn't think of his name though.
Yeah.
That's just like the image that popped into my head. That's really funny.
Yeah, I remember that so clearly, and just like that was my start of like, ooh, bad boys.
He smoked
Jumping-
at soccer practice at WRA.
Okay.
WRA soccer practice. He
Fucking
smoked.
12 years old.
Yeah.
John Pastilli, I think, was probably in that group.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So where did you guys like hang as you're becoming friends then? You're 10, 11, 12 years old. Ambler's always, I say, like a great area to
It
play
is.
in.
Yeah.
What was like your area? Did you guys hang out in your area, Joe? Where was the hang? Was it both?
I guess I remember coming to your house
I
and
would say
stuff like that.
a
like,
lot of people lived in our neighborhood. So
Yeah.
like when we would have like Midnight Tag or Manhunt or whatever we called the game,
Yeah.
there were always a ton of kids to play in our neighborhood. So
Right.
yeah, I think our neighborhood was like a frequent meeting spot.
Okay.
We were in the woods a lot. We like went back in the woods behind my parents' house. There was a
Yeah.
creek, like walked through the creek and like built forts and stuff.
Okay.
Back in the woods.
All right. Yeah, I used to have like a fort time like period in my life where we'd play with I had like pocket knives.
Yeah, I had a pocket knife.
Cutting fucking branches, and that was like the start in the Cub Scouts. Like you get a pocket knife and just cutting off little branches. We're gonna take this to our clubhouse.
My dad had all that stuff. He hunted and whatnot, and he had like hatchets, and I'm like, grab the hatchet and run back in the woods. Oh, I'm gonna take this tree down today. Like, it's high up on my list of things to do.
Man. Yeah. So, like in my neighborhood, Eric Nelson, like I grew up with Eric Nelson.
Yeah.
We played together. We did like the whole flashlight tag and all that stuff growing up.
yeah.
Street hockey. A lot
Where
of
was
street
that in
hockey.
Ambler? Where were you?
So I was right off of Morris Road
Okay.
on Betsy. So he was Mercer Hill, same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we grew up together a lot. And the Nelson boys and the Baker boys. That was fun. Yeah.
I remember you. I guess was it Cub Scouts?
I never did Cub
Was it Cub
Scouts.
Scouts? So am I
No.
lying about that?
Yeah,
was
no,
it
it's okay.
Was it just baseball?
Probably baseball,
Was
yeah.
it Ambler
we
baseball?
did Ambler
That's
baseball,
what it
yep.
was then.
Yep, definitely, at Knightsfield and
Yeah.
Pickering.
Pickering. Yeah. Did you hang out with I feel like there was a time I used to hang out a lot with like Alex Mater. And I felt like you were kind of like in that area
Yes.
of friends.
Yes, that was, wow, I haven't thought about that in a long time. but definitely like growing up like Little League Ambler baseball.
Yeah.
That was, and then I guess I don't know who else was in that group. Maybe like Danny Capolella. Does that name ring a bell?
Maybe. I mean, I remember Danny. Because I remember him and his brother both played baseball.
Yeah. And the Pledgies.
Yep. Abramitis.
Yeah.
Were you guys in pods together?
Yeah.
So going into middle
years.
school, then did you end up in pods with friends, each other? What was like for you to find?
I was
BAA.
I was A all 3 years.
Okay.
So we were definitely 7th and 8th grade then together. Nick Schultz was definitely in our pods. I feel like he had to have been.
I know Kevin Rapine was.
Kevin Rapine.
Because I remember him and I drawing during science class.
Yeah.
He would be like, "Yo, teach me how to draw like a good hand today," because I was always drawing like cartoon characters. And, and comics and shit. And Kevin's like, "You have to show me how to draw like a foot." I'm like, "All right, so do this," And meanwhile, Mr. Landis is like, "Guys,"
I got a funny. Remember the principal, Neil Evans?
Yeah, Mr. Evans. With the cane.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was intimidated as heck by him. Right.
He was like a drill sergeant.
He was.
Like,
yeah.
He was
And
like
he had
terrifying.
the buzz cut. He looked like the teacher or the principal in Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, I've been working for Upper Dublin High School for a while now as a teacher, and before I got contracted as a teacher, I've worked as an assistant, and this was maybe 2009-ish, and I'm working at Maple Glen Elementary, and I'm like making copies for a teacher, and like out of the corner of my eye, I see that cane, and like panic, just like a thousand. I was like, and I like turn around, like, oh my god, it's Neil Evans, and I'm like,
I'm sorry,
I freaked out, and like he walked by, and I was like, and then I found out he's an administrator at Upper Dublin. He's since retired, but it's like knowing him as an adult. He's a great guy. Yeah. We were totally had the wrong picture of him as kids. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's messed up. We all thought that cane was like the prop. This, it's just to scare people.
Right,
exactly. Hitting kids with it.
Doesn't need the cane.
He does not need the cane. No.
So the first thing he said when he has the cane, when you said the cane, I'm like, he still has the cane.
He still had the cane. Yeah. I think he retired maybe like 2016 or 17.
He hung it up on the wall. Like when he retired, he's like, don't need this anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Right under his like family's coat of arms.
Yeah, right.
That'd be a good serial killer TV show. Principal that kills bad kids.
I like that. Kind of like the Dexter.
Like Dexter, yeah. And the cane is his trophy. Yeah, I don't know. For me though, middle school was like the worst years. That's where like I felt like I didn't get that like everyone was like forming cliques. I didn't understand that at all. For you guys, what was your social world like? Because that's where you kind of like start getting your personality, I feel like, as far as how everyone sees you.
That's true.
Right. Yeah, so I felt like I was friends with everyone. Like I tried to be friends with everybody. And then I also I played football 7th grade through high school.
Oh.
And so I was always friends with like, I guess like the classical jocks and those guys. And then I had, like Nick Schultz, a crazy dude that he is, and like that whole crew, and they like I was just kind of meandered between both realms, kind of.
Is Nick the one that sort of brings all these groups together?
I think he is. Yeah, I really think
right now.
That would be that would be awesome. Yeah, Nick is like on it. Like he's married, he has kids, but he is still the same kid I met in 5th grade.
Yeah,
like he's just nuts.
I had a class with him. I want to say it was Spanish, and for the whole year. I don't know why. I don't know the origin of this, but I called him Billy Bob. That was the name, and I feel like I kept that up for years. I don't know if he remembers it. I feel like I could have wished him a happy birthday like 5 years ago on Facebook. As Billy Bob.
As Billy
because
Bob.
That popped up. But
that's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is.
Pete, older brother. Joe, any siblings?
Younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yep. Jim.
How much younger?
6 years.
6 years. Oh, okay. So like you out of all the schools by the time.
Yeah, we were never in school at the same. We were never in the schools at the same time.
Okay.
Just missed each other. I guess high school by a couple years. And
do people know your brother, Pete?
Yes.
Like.
Yeah. So Ann Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
She dated my brother when you guys were in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Right on. Yeah, that's kind of funny. But yeah, my brother, he just left this morning. He was in from Pittsburgh. So he lives in Pittsburgh. Went to college out there, married a Pittsburgh girl. He's got 3 little boys.
Married a Pittsburgh girl.
Married a Pittsburgh.
She says
Never
things
came
like
home.
Washington.
So true.
What was it like for you guys? You guys having parties? Were you guys just hanging out?
There was like I know
Going to parties? Maybe
going
not
to party.
having?
Yeah, like my brothers. Like again, like I did hang out a lot with my brother's class as well, and like there were always parties. And they definitely got in a lot of trouble. A lot. Like it's like I know. So the senior prom, I went as a junior, but everybody. Like there were no parties that night. The parents had cracked down, and everybody had to go to the post-prom party thing. Yeah.
Joe, you too? You were going to parties?
I went to a couple that like notoriously got busted, but I left right beforehand.
Nice.
So it was
Nice.
that happened a couple times. That happened at senior week too.
Yeah.
We went to,
yeah.
I think it was like, I want to say it was like Zach Rose's house or somebody's house at senior week, and everyone was already passed out, and we left like minutes before it got busted. Like somebody jumped out an upstairs window and like or something. I don't know. None of this may have happened. This is just what you hear.
Zach
you know?
Rose is the ponytail.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, because then there was also
Yeah.
a Zach Roma.
Yes.
That
And now
had,
I
like-
remember the name. I can't remember the
Yeah,
face.
had like maybe spiky hair because I worked with him at Wawa.
Okay. Okay.
Zach Rosa is in my phone. His picture is John Redcorn from King of the Hill.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's you see the two side by side, especially when Zach gets a nice tan going. He looks just like John.
That's great.
What did you guys do like in high school? What kind of were you just fucking around outside? Just that what your fun was? Same as like
Pretty
when you were
much.
younger?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, we would do the mall thing, do the movie things, bowling, stuff
Oh, yeah,
like
we
that.
had a lot of like group
Yeah.
things like
How
that.
big was your group? What was your like?
It was
Yeah.
mixed, like a bunch of people though. Like one night it might be like Sarah Vigno,
Yeah,
like and
yeah.
you know, and Matt McGrath and
Right,
Chrissy
right.
Stevens, and like everyone from. And then
Right.
another night it might be like for me at least, it's like Kevin Rabine, Zach Rosa, and
Yeah.
Evan Broderick, and we're all gonna go, you know. So I just, and then one night it's you, me, Nick, Mike, and
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It was.
so it was weird. It
fun.
was just like all different groups, and it just
Yeah.
always busy. You always had
Yeah.
somebody, you know, something to do with somebody.
Would you
Right,
guys have put yourselves? Because I wouldn't know because I didn't,
Yeah.
was paying attention like the buzz from your class. But would you
Right.
guys put yourself in a stereotype of like, were you in? I don't know. We've got like cool kids. We've got stoner crowd. We've got the trench coat mafia.
Right,
We've got,
right.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It really was. Like, I mean, they definitely there were those cliques, and I mean, you know,
I was in art classes.
right.
I mean,
Right. That was not me.
Yeah, but I mean, you were doing like sports things.
I was
while
doing all the sports
art
things, yeah.
things, and
Which, by the way, I was terrible. At.
TV lab, and
So bad.
I lived down in the TV lab. Anybody who knows me knows I've been.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
how long did you do it?
TV lab wasn't offered for like freshman and sophomore. I don't think. I
Okay.
think you had to be like a junior and senior to do it. But I went down there anyway, and I didn't because I just wanted access to the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had like at the time better cameras than I had and all that stuff and editing machines, and I wanted to learn all that stuff. So even before I was allowed to take those classes, I was going down there after school and just sort of learning, meeting everybody. And
You said early on what were you doing like as a kid or?
I distinctively remember my start in video and everything, and it stems back to like my dad used to take my brother and I out when it snowed and like get video of us in the snow, playing in the snow. And one year it was the blizzard of like 96.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, take the camera, let's go outside. And he's like, I don't feel like it. He's like, you take it out. I was like, and it was the one where you had to carry the VCR on your shoulder on a
Yeah.
strap, and you had the camera in your hand. And
Yeah.
Nice. Oh my.
I remember wrapping that in a couple trash bags, the VCR, and so it didn't get wet. And I called a bunch of friends over, and I said, I got the camera, and we made like commercials, like we made like a Rescue 911 show, and I'm like, struggling for life, and it would pan over, and like my brother's like drowning in the creek, and like, so that was the start of it for me. But then, in high school, then I started taking friends' themes that, like, and specifically, the first one I ever did was Dave Rothschild wrote a theme for English class
Right.
called Into Darkness. And it was the first time I, like, took something that somebody else wrote. That was, like, movie rights to me.
that's so cool,
It's
yeah.
because I can write. It just takes me a long time. So, the past couple projects I've done have all been other writers. And But that was the first time I like got somebody else's work, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this into a movie, you know, and I did.
so
It was like 10 minutes long, and you know, it was fun.
That's funny you did like a
start.
Rescue 911, and like as you're describing that, because I know you do like the horror genre, and like I was wondering, like, was this comedy or like as you're describing, I go, it seems kind of more like B-movie horror.
It was like we did a Ricola commercial where, you know, like a guy's like, you know, and and my friend, I don't even know who it is, like standing one leg up on our picnic table, like Ricola, like just little sketches and whatnot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where the bridge was, and then I went to school in New York for it, and my parents obviously didn't want me to. I'm gonna make movies, like sure.
Well, did you know that was like a did you know, like, as you were doing TV Lab, that was a job type of thing? Like, had you been paying attention to I don't know TV and movies and directors or cinematographers or anything?
For me, I got my film school education, so every summer we would rent a house in the Poconos. It was like my mom's college roommate's house. Like, she had so many kids, she didn't know what to do, and she had this Pocono house, and she gave my mom the keys and said, here, whenever you want to use it. All my kids are in sports and this and that. Like, I never have time to use this house. So we had keys to this Pocono house that we use like once a week, and it slept like 16 people. It was like Quagmire's house. Like, everything turns into a bed. Like, it was like, you know, so my brother and I would each be allowed to bring, you know, a handful of friends up. Mostly neighborhood kids. Like, I remember like these names. Do you remember Jake Kaufman?
Yes.
Lived across from Katie Fritchman.
Right.
Like, he used to come. Jake and I were close. Jeff Wire.
Okay.
Wow. Like, so yeah, these are like neighborhood kids. Like, Jeff Wire was in like Christian school up until high school, I think. So he didn't really even join the Wissahickon group until I think like sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
But I knew him from just being in the neighborhood. But yeah, they all used to come up to the Pocono house with us, and there was a video store in Mount Pocono that had, you know, it was just like a West Coast Video or something, and we were allowed to rent whatever we wanted. So, you know, Jeff and I always wanted like all the Van Damme movies. Like, we're so like, you know, Time Cop and, you know, like a Bloodsport and Kickboxer. Like, we always wanted the Van Damme movies and Time Cop. But then also all the horror movies I started watching because they're horror section. So I started getting all the Hellraisers and like, you know, just anything I could get my hands on, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. And so that's where my film school education came from. And then like Suncoast and the Mall. When I found out about Suncoast and the Mall, I was like, oh my God. And that's when I got like Reservoir Dogs and like Pulp Fiction and Trainspotting. And like Trainspotting to this day is my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
So, yeah, it's my favorite.
That's
movie.
interesting.
Danny Boyle's my favorite director by far.
I used to watch clips of it all the time, and it always turned me off. I had an illegal cable box, so it was on pay-per-view when I got it, and the kid coming out of the toilet.
Yeah.
That movie,
creepy.
I was a little too unadvanced to understand what was going on. I'd like to watch it as an adult. That'd be interesting.
Oh, that's great.
It's a hell of a movie.
That's another one Kevin Rapine got me into. I remember he had it on tape, on VHS.
Okay.
And we watched it at his house. And it's just like, and then I watched it again when I moved up to New York, but I watched it with the subtitles, and it like blew my mind because it was like a brand new movie.
Because you knew what they were saying.
Yeah, I had no idea what they were saying half the movie.
Yeah.
It's not English. It's not Irish. It's just pikey.
That reminds me, great question, because of where you guys were. I have a feeling you were West Coast, but West Coast or Ambler Video?
Mostly West Coast.
Because Dave Christ worked there.
But yeah, Ambler Video though I did go as well, but it was pretty much. So we would like every Friday night we would go to Michael's Pizza.
Yeah.
For
Dude, West Coast was
and
next
West
door,
Coast
yeah.
was right there. So
Yep.
that was where we
Old
went,
Michael's Pizza?
Old
where
Michael's
East Cuisine
Pizza.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael's used to be the store down the end, and a deli used to be where
That's right.
Michael's is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave Chris worked there, and my first job was Broad Axe Tavern, and I was busboy all the way up through. I even managed a couple nights there during the snowstorms and whatnot. But anyway, I used to walk over when I was done, and Dave would just give me whatever I wanted. Like I didn't pay for anything. And we used to look up because they had the porn room in the back there, the
West
adult
Coast,
room.
yeah.
We used to look up people we knew on the computer to see what they were renting. So he used to be like, you know, Mr. So-and-so? And we're like, yeah, he's like, check this out. Learned a lot about Mr. So-and-so that day. You know.
That's wild.
He's like, oh yeah, that guy's messed up. Like, check this out.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's great.
So yeah, totally illegal.
That's funny.
But that's where my film school education came from. Yeah.
Pete, you were doing football. What else were you? Were you doing? Were you like
Other sports?
Yeah, were you doing other sports? Were you
Not really,
doing
nah.
other stuff outside of school? What was your?
So no, I pretty much as far as sports go is football. Just because I did like everybody on the team. We always had a lot of fun, even though we were horrible. You remember it was bad.
They were all every
It
year.
was bad. I think my junior and senior year we won one game, and we won nothing my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
We went defeated.
We went defeated.
But no, it was still But other sports otherwise, like not really.
What did you think that you wanted to do when you were in high school? Like, was
Good
there a
question. Yeah, no. So like I had no idea what I wanted to do, and actually, when I left, graduated high school, my brother went to St. Vincent College, which is out by Pittsburgh and Latrobe.
Okay.
Small, little, tiny school, and like I didn't put any thought. I was like, I'm just gonna go to St. Vincent. Me and Rob will hang out, figure it out when I get there. And it was like figured, well, I guess my brother's taking business classes. I'll try some business classes, and I'm just there, and I'm like,
Is that before Westchester then?
yeah, that was so.
I don't know what the timeline is.
Right,
I
yeah.
knew
So
St.
this is
Vincent was
right,
in there.
yeah,
Okay.
right after like the fall after we graduated, and like I was young for my age, so like the first month I'm in college, I'm still 17, and of course now I've got all this freedom. I have no idea what to do with myself, and I had a lot of fun, but I did not do any schoolwork at all, and I knew I was like failing the classes. I couldn't, like, if I want to be honest, dude, like Wissahickon, I feel like they did not prepare us like how to write a paper. Like, I felt like we always were assigned themes and like very minimal like research-based papers. Like, is when I felt like when I got to St. Vincent, I had no idea how to write a research paper.
Can I have a saison and then?
That, yes, we're gonna need. It's a bottle.
Oh,
Like a
little bottle opener.
And
Oh,
Yes.
oh, it's a
Fancy
big
boy.
boy.
it's a big boy. So like, I remember like that like winter, and I was talking with my mom, and you know she knows the grades I'm getting. I know the grades I'm getting.
She's like, Peter,
yeah, you're
we
not
need to talk. Nothing like what your mom
nothing,
sounds
no.
like.
No, and like I knew I was like I'm taking an accounting class, and I'm like, if this is the type of work I need to be doing, it's no, I'm out. This is not where I need to be. So we had like a good long heart to heart with my mom there, and she's like, Pete, she's like, you've always liked history. And I was like, that's true. I've always always like one of my best subjects. She's like, you're really good with people. You're really kind. Well, thanks, Mom. I appreciate that. And she said, why not be like a history teacher or something like that? And that's when like the light as far as being a teacher like first went off. And so I finished that year there with a very low GPA and lots of dollars in fines.
Fines?
Yeah, I got caught drinking a lot, and that's where the fines came into play.
Were you really into history like that?
To a degree, yes. Like
they-
I always loved.
Did they explode or anything when you
They
opened
shouldn't.
Okay. Before you do this in your living room around
Right.
your...
They shouldn't. But yeah. So and I figured, well, you know, and I like, and my dad was always like, you know, he's like, I was like, oh, for you being a teacher, but why history teacher? Just turn on the History Channel, you'll be fine. Like,
You're like, Dad, have you watched the History Channel lately? There's no history on
there's
there at
no
all.
history. Yeah, right. Back
9
in-
of the shows are about Hitler.
Yeah, right.
Alien Hitler.
But
And the dinosaur that he rode.
the dinosaur. so yeah.
Does this mean my
but-
glass isn't clean?
No, it's very effervescent, highly carbonated.
Today's word is effervescent.
Effervescent. That was they had that song, right? I remember they were hot in like 02.
Yep. Effervescence.
Not tattoo, right? All the things she said, all the things she said,
No,
all
not
the
that.
things she said.
Oh my God,
God, I forgot about that.
Sorry.
As it should be.
that's all good. But
Way roundabout way. But,
yeah. So it's weird. Like, so that kind of got like the teaching bug started, and I went to Monco for 2 years, and I actually decided, I was like, you know what? I decided not to go high school. I was like, let me be elementary, because I felt like at that point in time, I remember there was a greater need in the workforce for male elementary teachers. So I figured, well, let's just give that a go. And that's where I thought my career was going to be. And here I am, I'm secondary special education. So it's been interesting.
What was like your group of friends like? I know. It sounds like you guys had like a lot of different influence, but in general, like your groups of friends, were you guys destined to go to college? Were your friends going to tech school? What was like the buzz of like, you said you wanted to go where your brother was doing.
Right.
So like, I assume that's kind of like a feeling that a lot of people are often like, oh, I want to do what my friends or whatever people in my life. That's maybe an interest. For me, no one was. Not for you. You guys.
I didn't want to go. My a lot of my friends, a handful of my friends, just like up and moved out west, and now they all won Emmys, and they're all working in the business. Yeah,
get out.
So, my parents really wanted me to go, and and I said, okay, well, I'm going to apply to like USC and all these, and they're like, no, you have to go East Coast and this and that.
So friends from high school or friends from where?
No, these are. I worked in '99 while I was in high school. I worked at Starbucks also, and Broadex, but a couple of people I worked with Starbucks were also in video and film and whatnot, and they just like as soon as high school was over, like up and moved west, and they're all doing.
They were like
well
legit, like that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody. It's a shame we didn't like know each other. I didn't know anybody like me that was like into that was into the actual active creative aspect. I talked to like Hank Jones, who he rented movies before he became a writer, and that's kind of like how he started his.
Yeah, for me, it was renting movies. Like that
but I didn't know people that were like actually shooting until I got to college. So that's so interesting because that's what you were doing, right?
We were just like
fucking around, but you were
we
doing
would write
stuff.
things on bar napkins on a Saturday night, and on Sunday shoot it. It wasn't good, but we were all about like
having fun,
just doing it because it was fun.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I didn't know anyone like that, and so the fact that then I have friends after college, after Temple film school that went off to LA, but like people that were doing it like the storied way.
I mean,
going
in
out there making
Wissahickon, there were a few people. It was me. It was Yaniv.
Yep.
Yaniv was doing
I remember
his show.
he had
the
the
Stilo
show,
show was,
right.
A grade above me was Wade Caterio, who was sort of doing more like, I just remember one film he did. He took like a Stephen King book and did like a scene from it, or something like that. I'm like, that was cool. And it was like, I distinctly remember it because it was like he and I were kind of going back and forth, not competing, but just like we were the only people who were making things worth watching. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but it was like compared to like other people took the class because it was an elective, and you could tell,
Right.
No, see, I argue that is the case in general. People think they can do it, and then real life sets in.
It's still the same today when I
Yes.
go and shoot a business and they say, oh, my phone shoots 4K. Why can't I do this myself? Why are you going to charge me $10,000 for this video? I'm like, go ahead, do it yourself.
Dude,
I encourage you to do so.
I legit, in Temple, I sat at in my senior thesis, I sat in my course while this guy made us watch his daily footage of a short he wrote about working in a warehouse that puts together furniture.
You got to do what you know.
Puts tables together. And this is the plot was, will they get all the tables together by
I'm on the edge
for
of my
the
seat.
order? What do you mean the order's for 85? We can only do 35 in a day. And then life happens throughout. And that was the moment I went, oh, a lot of people can get into this. There's not as much of a barrier as I thought.
Yeah. There were other people from Wissahickon. Remember Noel Valeri? He was a couple years ahead of us. You look up Noel Valeri. You remember Rumble and Ambler? He did that video. It was like a movie called Rumble and Ambler.
I want to see that.
That's a great. Why is that playing?
I don't remember this at all.
It was like I think it was.
It's a great title.
It was just like guys chasing each other through the school, and then there was like a car explosion at the end. Clearly, like a model somebody built, and they blew
I
it
wanted
up.
it to
and
be
like,
on a hill. on the asbestos hill.
I shot a lot of things in that factory.
Oh
my
my
company's named Keysby and Madison after that. But anyway,
awesome.
but yeah, Rumble and Ambler. Well, Noel Valeri made the Independence Day ship blow up the school. And it was like a split screen thing he did where the ship comes through and shot the beam down, and all he did was fade the school footage to white, and it made it look like it blew up the school. And I just remember being like blown away by that. If you look him up on IMDb, he's done like visual effects for like all the Marvel movies, and like his first thing was like, remember Eight-Legged Freaks? It was like a spider movie, giant spider movie.
Yeah.
He did that, and I was like blown away at the visual effects. I'm like, no, I know this guy. He was a trench coat guy. So yeah, there weren't many people doing like video stuff. He was one of them. Wade was one of them. I remember one thing I made they didn't show because it showed. Remember Liam Kelly?
Liam Kelly.
Weird kid. Liam, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Sounds familiar.
In the film I shot, I had him doing coke and killing himself. So they would not show that at the screening. But I was mad because Rumble and Ambler, or something Wade did, showed him like machine gunning a bunch of people down. And I'm like, he was allowed to show, machine gunning people down, but I can't show this guy doing that. And I was really mad.
So that's really funny. So I just came across some old archives of some things I had written in the past. And in that was this like blog post that I wrote. I guess I wrote it like in a word processor and then I posted it or something. God, I hope it's gone if it is, because that page is scary. But I wrote this post about being at Monco and entering the film festival, and I'd entered a music video that was like my rap music video of Red Shirt Playa, right? And they deemed it appalling.
Appalling. Wow.
Appalling.
Oh my goodness.
And, and here's why I bring it up, because in the festival but it had won for like best, I can't remember what it was.
Avant-garde.
Yeah. And so I was to get this award, but they had to play it before they bring you up.
I remember that festival.
Okay,
I was in that before. Yep.
Yes.
I went to Mongo for a year before New York, so yeah, I was in that before.
So, Luke Myers had also done a video.
Was it his One in the Woods with the snow? I helped him with that.
Yes, and the anal sex.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
like a devil. It's like a devil having anal sex with this girl in the woods.
I think I remember this. I do remember this.
So all I can tell you is, having been there, first of all, Luke, that wasn't supposed to take place in the snow. Out in the woods. Wait. Supposed to be in the woods, but not in the snow. It snowed like blizzard the night before we were supposed to shoot. All right, we were like 20-some years old shooting a sex scene, which obviously wasn't real. But to choreograph it, and I say choreograph because if you listen to the behind the scenes audio, it's Luke going back, forth, to get their timing right. God, I haven't thought about that.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize he made that for Monco.
Yeah.
I thought that was just for him.
Yeah,
but
that was for
to
Monco.
get their timing right. He's like, okay, back, forth. So we started calling it like the back, forth, the movie or something. But
so my music video got grouped in with that. Did you guys have subjects, good subject? Did you guys have subjects that you were favorable to?
in school?
Yeah. Like I said, our history classes. Mr. Lazar, love that guy.
Yeah.
He was insane.
Yeah,
I did enjoy his classes though. He was nuts. History was always good. It's weird. I actually I did not like math in high school, and I'm a pre-algebra math teacher. Like I focus like kids with special needs and getting them through pre-algebra.
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's like I was not a fan in high school. I was not a fan. Yeah.
Joe?
I still to this day can barely count. So something that I brought up a couple of years ago when Audible first came out, and it absolutely changed my life. I'm undiagnosed ADD, ADHD. I know everybody, but in school, like I definitely had it and was never medicated for it or anything. But we would get a book assigned to us. You know, we need 8 chapters read over the weekend. And I'm like, lucky if I can get through like 3 paragraphs of this thing over the weekend. So I said, like, I wish Audible existed when, because I've since gone back and like read all those classics that we should have read in high school that I didn't. You know, when it came time to writing something, I was great. I could write a theme. Themes are what saved me in English class. You know, it wasn't reading the books and whatnot. It was having to write something. I could write no problem. You know.
Yeah.
But reading like killed me.
Yeah. I hated assigned reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whether
the
it was
read
in a
aloud
science
in the
book
class.
Or, oh my god.
You're like, count the paragraph when you know it's your turn.
Yeah.
Like,
And make sure you get that.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Yeah, I'll be on this paragraph. Okay.
So for me, you know, any creative class, loved it. Of course. Like, I actually got into art late. Like Mr. Miller, Dave Miller. Like, I was when Dave Miller got to Wissahickon, I was in my, I want to say, senior year, so it was his first year there, and I had an open elective. Why did I have an open elective? I found out that foreign languages were an elective, and you didn't have to take one.
Yeah, I think you have to take 2 years. I guess.
Oh yeah, you have to take like 2 years,
right?
But then the second 2 years you don't
done.
have to. So I was struggling in French. Like I took French the whole way through.
Right.
And again, just came back to probably reading and focusing on things that I just, you know. So when I found out it was an elective, I dropped that so quick, and I took drawing for like the first time in high school. I took like drawing, and it was Dave Miller's first time teaching there. He was fresh from Texas, didn't have any tattoos yet that we could see anyway. That year I won, I think, like best of show of the art show or whatever. Like a pen and ink thing I did won like whatever the equivalent of like best of show was, and it pissed some people off who were in the art program for like 4 years.
Because you're a newbie.
And I came in like first semester of my senior year and took drawing 101 and won, you know, the art show. Well, I think my second semester I didn't have to do any of the projects. Mr. Miller was just like, just be creative, just draw stuff, do whatever you want. So that was great.
That's awesome.
But any creative classes, great, loved it. Anything, you know, I absolutely hated school.
Yeah,
absolutely hated it. Hated. You know, I liked the people there, but you know, I was this close to like dropping out.
Just leaving.
Yeah, I absolutely hated it. I was terrible at it.
How do you feel about it?
I liked it.
Liked it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was, you know, like for the most part, the classes I took came easy. It was, you know, BCs with the occasional A, and that's didn't really have to apply myself too much.
Did you guys?
Nice, but
did you feel like the pressure of getting through it, like where you say you almost like left, did you feel the pressure of like I'm supposed to finish this?
Yeah, but I didn't feel pressure.
It wasn't pressure. No.
I especially back in my younger day, and I think I still have it. Like I am a very easygoing, whatever will be, and I don't let these things stress me out.
Interesting.
That's kind of obviously with the responsibilities of becoming an adult, but like as a kid, it was like, all good. I'll graduate. I'll try something else after that.
Yeah.
And then we'll do something after that. And okay.
Did you ever look at any other schools?
No. Well, yeah, but I knew I was going to go to St. Vincent anyhow. Like I think actually, and you know what? Like, I say no. Yeah, like it was when my brother was visiting schools when he was a senior.
You went with.
I went with him. I was like, yeah, okay. I saw Millersville. I saw Shippensburg. Whatever. Seemed like all the same. And I know, like my senior year, I went out to visit my brother a few times and had a great time. And I was like, this is perfect. What could be, you know, I mean, Keystone Light. We don't have that over here. This beer is amazing.
That during like the
Little
Keystone
did I know.
Keystone Keith craze, right?
Yeah. But
funny.
yeah, like that's what I thought college was. And I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to be doing as an adult. That took a while. Like, you know, we graduated 2000. I didn't get my college degree until 2006 because the freshman year was a waste. 2 years at Montco, and then I ended up at Westchester. I did 3 years at Westchester. Yeah.
I don't have a degree.
You did Montco?
I did a year in Montco, then moved up to New York and went to the Film Academy, which it's not accredited school.
Oh, wow. So what did you do when you were at Montco for that year?
Communications and core classes, because I had no idea what school I was going to wind up in.
Yeah.
I applied to SVA, the School of Visual Arts in New York.
Okay.
Again, Dave Miller, he used to be an admissions person there. And he was like, and any letter that came home to my parents from the school said, anything that Joe likes, he gives like 110% to.
Yeah.
You know, like anything he takes an interest in, he is into. But like nothing. And the other stuff is what makes your grade go down, you know, the academic stuff. Mm-hmm. So Dave Miller was like, oh, SVA is like, they don't care about your math grades. They don't care about your academics. They are strictly art school. Like, they want to see your portfolio. And I said, and he's like, I used to be an admissions person there. He's like, I'm going to talk to some people. And so I didn't apply anywhere but SVA.
Oh,
and I didn't get in
for
my grades. So, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, this was my sure thing, you know, like I didn't even apply to any other colleges. So that's when I found out Film Academy, they just want your money. But the cool thing about that is their equipment to student ratio is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So like we would get kids from like NYU come to our school because like it was like 16 kids to a camera package at NYU when it was like 3 kids to a camera package at our school. So, and the camera packages were 16 millimeter film cameras, you know,
wow.
like they said made in West Berlin on the side or whatever, you know,
from?
it's like, what's that?
Where are you getting film from?
I would buy it from Kodak in New York. I would just go there.
You started off just buying your film. That's interesting.
That's the reason I went there is because they taught film.
You went right to like
I actually got a scholarship
millimeter
offered to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Where's that?
New Jersey. And I went and looked at the school and everything, but they were video only. And I turned it down because I wanted to learn film before it went away forever. And my parents were not thrilled about that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, New York.
Because
honestly,
they wanted you to go to college.
Well, they weren't. They were. They didn't like the turning down the scholarship part, you know, obviously. But New York, I honestly probably learned more from just living in the city than any school could teach. You know, being on production sets and just not having money and you know living in New York.
Yeah, that's. So
and I lived in Hoboken most of the time, which was great.
Nice. Did you guys talk about stuff like that when you were growing up? Like, you guys talk about
like I didn't know your folks were upset about that college decision. I had no idea.
Well, I mean, they didn't like right off the bat didn't want me going to film school. Like any kid like tells their parents I want to go to an art school or something. They're like, that's great, you know. Especially with my dad in the restaurant, I'm sure he would have much rather just had me, you know, go to work there or whatever.
Right,
but,
right.
What was your dad's restaurant?
It was a tavern in Bensalem.
Oh, cool.
But he had it for 55 years. His dad opened it, so I had no interest. I actually wound up working there for a long time. After I got back from New York, but I worked there for like 15 years.
Wow,
hated every minute of it.
Did you work there in high school?
No.
Did you guys have jobs in high school?
Yeah. My main like not really over the winter. Right? I was a caddy.
Yeah.
I caddied at Philly Cricket Club from freshman year, summer up until like honestly I did it up until like my late 20s at various just as it was easy money, you know.
Any big tippers?
Yeah, I remember.
Celebs?
Yeah, there were. I don't remember. They were there, but I never.
Howard Eskin never stiffed you.
I was just gonna say.
I did not a celebrity, but apparently I did caddy with a murderer once.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So there was. This was maybe.
All of his clubs were sticky.
Yeah. No, it was a guy that came one summer, jacked, African American guy, ex-military, and he was there for one summer. Always talk, just talk, yap. And I remember one time. We're out.
It's not OJ.
No, it wasn't OJ. Yeah, we're out caddying, and a lot of times like you go out for caddy where you walk ahead of the golfer so you can like into the fairway, and then so you can watch the, you know, where the balls land, and then you're already there when they get there and stuff like that. And he's yapping, he's talking about his ex-wife and how much he misses her. And he's gonna get her back, and this, that, and the other. My ex-wife, this
again to clarify.
Yeah,
it's not OJ.
It's not OJ. Okay. No.
Yeah, because he's like, good idea, Juice. You should totally get back at her.
How's that Bronco treating you? He's and you know the day goes
idea.
on. It's
I inspired the double murder.
Just wear gloves, all right?
Just wear some gloves.
Don't drop it though.
Yeah,
that's really important.
Right.
You got a reliable car?
Oh my god. So that day ends, right? I come back the next summer, and I'm talking to some other caddies. Hey, mate, you remember so and so? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, dude, that guy got arrested for murder. I was like, what? And apparently he was out caddying like not too long before I was there, like maybe in the spring when I was at college and before the summer. And he was caddying at Philly Cricket, and one of the guys in the foursome was a pro at a golf club in New York where he's wanted for murder. Jesus. And the caddy didn't recognize the New York golf club. They played the whole round. While he was out for caddying and separated, they called the cops. 18th green. Into the cop car he went.
Did he finish his game?
Yeah, finished the game.
Nice.
Yeah, so he got his money, I guess. But yeah, murderer.
It'd be a great episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That would be.
So
my
many,
God, yeah.
They do so many episodes like at the golf club.
He like sinks a putt. It's like a course record. All the cops like applaud and then arrest him.
Put my name down. Put my name down.
Spelling it as they're pulling him away. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I was thinking most of the stuff we've done probably started around like senior week and on, right?
Yeah.
So you mean like you guys were like friends, but like you?
Yeah, but like I'm just trying to think like before senior week time, like we were probably at mutual things, but like senior week we were in a house together for a week.
It was me, you, Aggie, Nick Schultz,
and Vince
Sadati.
Oh wow, yeah, Vince Sadati.
Yeah, we were all in a house together, right in Ocean City.
Yep.
Yeah, that was actually the greatest part of that week that I still do. And well, me, Mike, and Nick, we rented surfboards.
That was your
week,
first surf?
And I went out and bought a surfboard that week, and the three of us still surf.
That's cool.
We always do a winter trip, Martin Luther King weekend. We were out in the waves, getting
as
cold,
he would want it.
As you would want it, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so like that's like a little hobby that we picked up senior week that we all still do. Me, the three of us, me, Mike, and Nick. Yeah.
Middle of the winter.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy. You guys go out. I see your
it's so
pictures.
much fun.
I'm
so
sure
much fun.
Yeah. But I mean, like you were talking earlier about like finding your groups that you're in and this and that.
Yeah.
Whatever groups were there, I think senior week like breaks those walls down.
Yeah.
Because there were like I remember like John Schwab like hanging out a window as we're walking down the street. He's like, Nick, like or whoever, he was probably yelling at Nick or something. Like, get up here, and we go up there and it's like Schwab and like Sharif and like everyone's sitting around. I'm like, I've never been in the same room with all these people at the same time before, and
having fun.
I did senior week for like 3 days in Ocean City, and I remember the same thing of like going to the house that like told me I could come hang out, and then going to another house for the party and just seeing all these people that I never ever hung out with, and just thinking like, oh, okay, like I'll drink this Budweiser. Actually, you guys have water? This is not. Coca-Cola, like this is not good. But you go into teaching, but then you also go into working part-time at a brewery.
Yeah.
How does that coincide? Because
So
you're just home at 3:30, so
it works. I've actually again like after I think also like another job I had my senior year. I worked at Otto's Bra House. You remember that restaurant
on 611?
Yeah. So I worked there, and I worked there through high school, and pretty much up until I worked at a lot of restaurants over the years. Between 2008 and 2012 was my last restaurant. I worked at William Penn Inn part-time, which was when I quit there, I was like, never again. I'm never, ever going into the restaurant industry.
You hear that, William Penn?
I'm done. William Penn Inn, you killed it for me.
Ruined
you
it.
killed his spirit.
Killed it.
He was going to be a career waiter at William Penn Inn.
Maybe
Penn one day being upgraded to the Commonwealth Club.
Weddings, Sunday brunches,
all the holidays,
you
lost them.
Yeah.
Yep. Now he's a teacher and makes beer, wasting his life at a brewery.
You did that to him.
You did that, William.
You did that job to him.
Yep, career waiter.
Unbelievable.
That's all he talked about growing up. He's like, one day I'm going to be a waiter at the William Penn Inn. We're like, Pete, if you work really hard and get good grades in school, you can do that.
Get a college degree.
And then William Penn ruined it for him.
And they ruined it.
Could have been the maitre d'. Is that a thing still?
Yeah.
Maitre d' still a thing? You think William Penn Inn has? They seem like a place to have a maitre d'.
Sure.
You could have been the maitre d'.
Could have been.
You don't want that shit.
You don't want that.
Fuck that.
No, it's no good. But anyhow,
I like this path. I like this path for you.
It's a good one. Yeah, it works. It works. But no, I moved to Ambler obviously I grew up, but I moved elsewhere. Came back to Ambler about 3 years ago. And actually, I live above the newsstand. I'm like right on Butler.
I was gonna say, do you want to?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to tell people where you're at, but Pete lives above the Ambler newsstand. Yes.
So I mean, like, listen, when Ambler,
you're wondering.
But hey, so once I moved in, and like I had been friends with everybody at Forest and Maine. Like I've been, hanging out there since they opened.
Yeah.
And the one manager, Tom, great guy. I called him. He was like, listen, I'm here. You ever need help? Let me know.
Tom?
What's that?
The twins, Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
McFarland.
Like,
Yeah.
Tom. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, they hired me and I worked part-time there. And I would do food running. I'd do bartending, waiting tables, whatever they needed. And then when, COVID hit, obviously the restaurant, I was done. But yeah, so I basically, any friends out there on the podcast there, you're either going to find me or Mike Agee at Rittenhouse Market every Saturday.
Yeah.
Selling beer
nice.
for Forest and Maine. So you want to come say hello, we'll be there.
What kind of music were you guys listening to?
God.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. That
That
was...
was the dawn of all that crap.
I was...
What kind of crap are we talking about here? Are we talking about Trenchcoat Mafia crap, or do we...
Well, no, some of the crap I still like.
Okay.
Some of it's not crap. Like, I found my...
Like, I would think that, like, just based on the stories that you've told, I would think, like, 9 Inch Nails was, like, huge.
Well, 9 Inch Nails is still one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah.
But... all right, so my intro to
I know Luke
music,
did the corn hair spiral.
I mean, I was into
like,
Korn. I was
yeah.
into Limp Bizkit and all those bands. I have a funny Limp Bizkit story, but
all Limp Bizkit.
well, no, like my intro to Limp Bizkit was Zach Rosa had a ticket for them at the Electric Factory on my birthday. And he's like, "Do you want to go to this? It's some biscuit band or something." Like nobody had any idea like who they were. Like it might have been their first time in Philly. I have no idea. But my first concert was Page and Plant, and Laura Zimmerman and I went.
Nice. Wow.
But that was my first concert. I remember telling my parents, they're like, "Oh, what's this band you're going to see tonight?" I'm like, "I don't know, it's some biscuit something." They're like Led Zeppelin. Like I saw Led Zeppelin last week. They're just like Led Zeppelin.
Just like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. And my parents were like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But that was my first time like taking the train to the gallery for a show. Like, I don't know how old we were, but that was like a big deal. But my thing with music is like I like the Beatles. The Beatles I discovered on my own. I mean, my parents had some records I listened to.
You searched them out?
Sort of. The anthologies just came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember seeing the commercials on TV, and they were all over to Beatles have a new song, first song in 50 years or whatever. And I bought the anthologies, having no idea what the Beatles were. And the cool thing about the anthologies was
In high school?
in high school, I want to say maybe like 7th or 8th grade to high school, like somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's interesting. You went that long.
And then like I remember the first thing on the anthology is their first recording, and it's Buddy Holly's "That'll Be the Day That I'll Die." And it's kind of cool because like the first Beatles song I ever heard, knew it was the Beatles or whatever, was the first song they ever recorded. And then you sort of listen to them in order in the anthologies. And then I remember Josh Morrow came over my house one day and had a bag of CDs, and and they were all Beatles CDs except Zeppelin 4 was in there. And he left it at my house accidentally. Like he left, and I had this bag of CDs, and it was cool because it was Beatles albums I didn't have. Like Revolver was in there, and like Rubber Soul, and like But Zeppelin 4 I remember listening to, and just being like, "What is this? Like this is awesome," and like. Immediately a Zeppelin fan, and then Pink Floyd, and like
Pink Floyd was
just all
big for me.
Pink Floyd is still is yeah.
I just like high school years. I would like save money and go to the CD store and think, okay, what's a new Pink Floyd album that I don't have yet?
Interesting.
And we've seen them. We've seen Roger Waters.
Yeah, we've seen Roger Waters.
At least once.
Yeah. Right on.
So Pete and I went on a big trip.
We did.
Yeah, you took a road trip, right?
Anyway, that's it. Have a good day.
Later. Thanks,
See you
guys.
later, guys.
See you later. Yeah. So yeah, the trip started like I have been trying to go overseas like forever. Before like 6, 7, 8 months before the pandemic, I got a good friend that lives in Edinburgh, and I was going to go visit him.
That's in Scotland.
That is in Scotland. You're right.
For those of you playing
Geography, yeah. We'll put a little map up.
Right on. But obviously then, COVID happened and it was going to be during that summer, like no go. So I was like, I got to do something. I got to travel somewhere. And it was actually Adgie. It was Mike Adgie.
Yeah.
He said, he's like, Pete, he's like, you're a teacher. You got the summers off. You don't have any kids. You got nothing holding you back. Just get in your car and drive somewhere. I'm like,
maybe I will, Adgie. Maybe I will.
And
Pete's like, all I want to know is who's coming with
right.
me.
Who's coming with me?
You're hitting so many lines right now.
Yeah.
I can't even keep up with like finger gestures. Like,
We found an RV place in Souderton, and we couldn't find an RV to rent because everybody
was taken.
Right?
Yeah, his name was Pete. Pete, what was his name?
Scoozy.
Great name for a guy.
Wait,
with
what
an
is
RV.
it?
Cozy.
Cozy.
It was
yeah.
Pete Cozy.
Pete Cozy.
Great RV name.
Shout out to Pete Cozy at Fret's RV. There you are, buddy. But and he starts giving me the same song and dance that everything's rented out, and he's like, "Wait, we got a brand new one. It's not even in the system. Just came in this morning." I was like, "Awesome."
A brand new van.
Yep.
So yeah, we booked it and we drove from here essentially out to
back.
and Utah and back in 2 weeks. Essentially, yeah.
But you did go to Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the furthest west we made it. Our first major stop was in Des Moines, Iowa, to see Justin Janis,
That's right.
another graduate of Wissahickon.
Yep.
All right.
So shout out to
Hospitality.
Justin. Yeah,
He's
great
great.
guy.
And great dogs.
Yeah.
Was there a goal in mind for this trip?
Loose.
Yeah, like we had a basic like, okay, we want to try and check out like these national parks, these kinds of areas, but
we
like,
didn't want a Griswold's thing. Like, come on, we gotta.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta
It
leave
was
by
like
3
if
o'clock
we
we're
want to
gonna
stay
get
another day, we're gonna stay another day.
Right.
If we're gonna, change plans and not go here and
Which
go
we did.
there, and which we did.
I mean,
yeah.
Zion was on fire. We wanted to go to Zion Park, but it was
Yeah,
on
Zion
fire, so
was
we could not
was
go.
on fire. Yeah.
So you had never driven cross country?
No,
Or
this
neither
is
of
the
you.
first. Yeah, I mean,
I've gone south before. I've gone like driven from here to
yeah,
Florida, but I've never
I've
gone
been
west.
up and down the East Coast, Maine to
Same,
Florida.
yeah, Maine to Florida.
I've been to
Never driven
Texas
out.
once for a wedding,
not
Arizona
driven.
when I was a small
Yeah, I've been to
child. That doesn't
California,
matter.
like
You
via
never
plane,
driven.
but I've never driven out.
And I've never
west.
been to California.
That's
I've
cool.
actually never been out.
Oh.
Yeah, so like this was like the farthest. Like when I was like a kindergarten kid, we went out to Arizona, like Tucson for. But,
Did you drive back?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Are-
did the whole.
I only have 2 regrets about the whole trip. One is my main regret is I wish I didn't bring any video equipment with me.
Yeah.
I brought all my video shit with me, expecting to make this awesome video, and I never took it out of the case. And second, even though the drive out and back was fun, I think, that was like a week of our travels. It was like
Right,
3.5 days out, 3.5 days back. That's a week right
Yeah,
there.
right.
Yeah.
Like we could have flown out and rented an RV in Iowa or whatever, and only taken 6 hours to get out there as opposed to 6 days.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
that's the trip, though. I feel like,
Yeah, but there's nothing in between here and
but
there.
that's
like
the
it's-
trip.
That is.
Yeah,
the
it
trip.
is. You're right.
That
You're right.
is the
but,
trip.
So
like,
I'm
it's
glad
the-
we did it.
I'm glad we did it. Don't get me wrong.
Now,
but if I
next
did it
time,
again, yeah,
do it again.
If I did it again,
Run out
Right.
there. Yeah.
Once you've done it, but
Yeah,
you
I
guys
think
had
you-
never done the trip.
Right.
You've
Right.
never
You
done
got
I
that
think
trip.
flying to like Washington State and doing the West Coast would be great, or
Right.
something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
driving to Washington would be like, oh my
Right.
god, it's like,
Joe, when I was gonna ask you, when did you come back from New York?
like 2004, 2003ish, 4ish, something like that.
Because was it just because you finished the academy?
I was just done there, and I actually stayed there like 6 months to a year after I was done, and I was still working at Starbucks, and it was time.
How did you get into actual? Because like professional videography is something that I didn't start getting into until like 5 years ago.
So I had a little hiatus, but it started. I was working at Houlihan's, in Plymouth Meeting,
Yeah.
and I had a table one day of 2 guys sitting at the table, and I heard them talking about video stuff. Like I could overhear their conversation, and I don't remember the conversation, but I said something. I'm like, oh, you can just blah, 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 blah. And they're like, the waiter just said like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And they said like, oh, are you in video? And I said, I just got back from school. Well, they were the owners of Lafayette Hill Studios in Lafayette Hill. It was Sid, and I forget who he was with, probably Mike Brand at the time. So I worked there right out of school, and half weddings, half other stuff. The wedding stuff I hated. The other stuff was great. We shot like every Pep Boys ad you saw that year. They
that's cool.
because the Pep Boys like video studio, all the commercials are shot locally.
Cool.
At least at the time they
that.
were. They sent me around the country like to shoot different events and stuff. So it was great. But eventually I left there and I started working for a law firm doing video for an aviation law firm that only did aviation cases. And it was a good job, but it was stressful to the point where like they would fly me to a crash site of a crashed airplane, and I would videotape the wreckage, then fly to like Texas to meet the family that lost the family member in that plane, and they would sit around just like this on video and be like, he was such a good father and we miss him so much. And I would just be sitting there like, oh my God. And then I would have to take that footage and put sad piano music to it, and then they would show it to a judge to try to get more money for the family from the airline. And like I would just be like sitting behind the camera just
Holy
like, oh my
shit.
God. It's
How long did you do that for?
Like a year.
I didn't know that was even a fucking job.
And like they're talking about like losing dad in this plane crash, and then you show the seat that he died in, you know, of the wreckage, and it was like, oh my God, like like
dude,
so.
You've just blown my mind.
Yeah, so that's
every
a
once
thing.
in a while I find like new jobs that I just go.
So that's,
Yeah.
I didn't
that's
know
a
this
thing.
was
That's
this was like
something you
a
can do.
real profession.
Yep. So I did that for a little while. Eventually, I left. I needed a job. My dad at his restaurant, they needed a kitchen staff, so I cooked there for like 10 to 15 years. And
Let me ask you. So when you do that, what are you thinking once you get in? Like you're
what, the lawyer job?
no.
My dad's
Once you go to the restaurant,
Uh-huh.
so you spent years at a film academy. You learn how to shoot film. You started to venture into it, and now you've completely
I felt like
flatlined into this.
I felt like with every sandwich I made, you could see the dream getting further and further away.
Yeah.
You know, like every cheesesteak I put on a roll was one less video I was going to shoot or something. And I was there for a really long time. I mean, the money was good. I'm working for my dad, which sucked. It absolutely destroyed our relationship. He eventually became more of a boss than a father. And I was just like, I didn't want to go over for dinner. You know, I was just like, oh, I see this guy all fucking day, and all he does is yell at all the employees, and everything's my fault, you know? And I'm just like, I'm the general manager of the place, you know? So if something happened, it's my fault, you know? So yeah, it sucked. But I left there to open the Cat Cafe in Philly.
What was the Cat Cafe?
It was a cat cafe on 4th and Fitzwater. It was a full cafe with cat adoption place. It was the Hawaii Kitty Cafe. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
And that's why we moved to the city. We moved to the city and we ran it for like 3.5 years, and COVID shut it down.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. We had our busiest year. We had about a 2 to 3 week waiting list to get in. Like it was like the hottest thing. We just renewed our lease of 3 years, and then we closed March 15th, and that was it. We got that employee compensation thing where you can still pay your employees for a couple months, and then that was it. We tried to get the landlord to work with us, and he did for a couple months. He gave us like $500 a month rent, you know, and thinking the pandemic would be over. And then when it wasn't, we said, can we continue with this? And he said no, and we're like, all right, well, we're leaving then.
Yeah.
And that was it. So at that point, I was getting back into video. I got a job at a studio in Manayunk. The problem was for me is I missed that DSLR revolution where everyone who had a Canon 7D that could shoot video was shooting something with cinematic style lenses and this and that. And I missed all that being at my dad's place, you know. So coming back to video and finding that, oh, everyone who's shooting video is using DSLR cameras now, you know. It's like that took a little while to like get back into. But yeah, so it took a lot of catching up to do, and I'm very fortunate that I've been able to get back into it after being out of it for 15 years, you know.
Yeah.
That took a lot of catching up.
You named your company
Keysby and Madison, yeah.
after Ambler.
Well, I wanted to name it
Stables.
something Ambler-y because that's where it started. And for a while I was like Ambler Films, Ambler Media, but that's like whatever, and I wanted something a little more abstract. And Keysby and Madison, I looked up and it was available legally, and it was the name that started the town. So, you know, so it still lives. And the other thing was, like, growing up, I shot all my early videos there.
Right.
You know, like we shot Run Brother Run there. We shot so many.
Run, brother, run.
Like
man.
Run Brother Run was Mark Farrington. Mark Farrington's like, Joe, I got an idea for a film. He's like, it's about a guy who gets blamed for a crime he didn't commit, and it's called Run Brother Run. And I'm like, all right, what's the crime? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I didn't think into it that much. And I'm like, and Mark he wanted to be in it, so I'm like, all right. So we shot, like, Mike Agee was in it, Les was in it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Les was a great guy.
What's up with your yearbook here?
Well, since we weren't friends in high school, we are now. I can have you sign my yearbook.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed I forgot mine.
Oh, I gotta ask you guys. I'll get my. Oh, I do have a pen over here. I gotta ask you guys about movies. I always ask people about about movies.
Joe
during
doesn't
high
like
school
movies.
time.
I hate
Yeah,
movies.
hates them. Hates
Yeah,
them.
doesn't like him.
What were you guys
Trying to
into in
think,
high
like,
school?
high school movies. God,
Late '90s, very early 2000.
I think
Like
one
Scream.
Scream was
probably.
huge.
A lot of people mention this. Screen.
Judgment Night. Remember that movie?
No.
Oh, Emilio
Judgment Night?
Estevez, Cuba Gooding Jr.,
No. After.
Dennis Leary.
No.
It is
wow.
a great movie.
Judgment Night.
It's about I actually used to have the soundtrack. It was a great soundtrack. It was a movie where like
After Jerry Maguire.
before this is probably like 92, 93. This
Oh,
movie
okay.
probably
All right.
came out.
Okay.
But it was like it was a group of buddies rent an RV and they're going out to the football game, and they had just one series of bad things happened after another, and they witnessed Dennis Leary, who's the gangster, like commit a crime, and now he's after them to kill them all because of the crime he
I think we need a
committed.
remake.
It's kind of like Run Brother Run.
It's the exact same thing.
But it's
Dennis Leary was in our movie too. It was weird.
They end up in like the sewer systems of New York,
Wow.
like running through it. It's a great bad movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't know what movies I liked in the 90s.
That's a really weird one.
Yeah, that is. I just
The
popped in
Crow.
the bed.
The Crow was
Crow.
probably like my favorite movie back then.
Yeah,
Like,
Really?
probably,
Crow.
yeah. Like that was yeah.
Right on.
In high school, I probably loved The Crow.
Yeah.
I remember wanting to make a movie like The Crow.
Wow, interesting. It's funny. I've never seen it. And Brandon Lee dies in that film.
Yep. And I actually got a guy from The Crow to be in a movie I was making, and he died right before we shot his scene.
Wow.
So I was like so thrilled that I got John Polito to be in my film that I was making, and he died right before.
Wow, I haven't. Now I'm gonna have to see it.
Only watch the first one and watch it, with a grain of salt that you're like, this had its time and place.
Okay.
Like the sequels are terrible. I've never even seen the third one.
Well, let me see. What's up with this? What's up with this yearbook? Am I in this? Like all the.
Well, you would have been
All the grades are in this thing?
Yeah.
everything under 2000. So
Yeah, you're definitely in there. I think there might be
surviving
like
in a
we had the Matrix
chaotic
cover.
role.
I might
World.
actually be. There might be a baby picture. in the
Volume
back.
38.
This would be 39. Yeah.
Does that say volume?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, volume
Oh.
39. Yeah.
Does it say was it on the spine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't think it did, and I didn't know what the ilium was like. In a bubble, I was like, why does it say this? John Brosnan is in total Homelander mode.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Nick Burdett. Wow.
There's a
this
show I
is-
want to come back on.
Boy, this is
When's the
fucking
boys coming back on?
crazy.
Yeah, the boys got it.
Boys are
This has
so
got
good.
just pictures I've never. You gotta understand. Like I've been looking at the same yearbook this entire
Sure.
time.
You got something new.
Yeah.
there.
So to see
Yeah.
these new pictures of people and ones that I've interviewed, I'm like, oh my god, this
Wow.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I look like a little young rock here. I gotta take a picture of this.
Oh no. I just think I remember hearing your name like over the Brad Corbett, please come to the attendance office or something like that. I think that's the only way I knew you.
Oh fuck.
That senior picture of me in there, if it was color, you would see that I had some blonde tips going.
Oh, I had
Tips.
blonde tips too.
Yeah.
Put some sunshine in there.
That's
Did you guys
right.
have Did you guys have like a fashion? What was your fashion sense?
It was cargo khakis,
Mm-hmm.
Abercrombie sweater, wool socks, Birkenstock sandals.
Wow, that's very specific.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
that was definitely a thing in junior.
I had like
year.
band T-shirts, baggy pants. I had black combat boots or Doc Martens or something.
Yeah.
For me, it was like preppy / hippie. We could merge those two together.
Preppy.
Preppy / hippie.
Preppy.
It was preppy.
Preppy.
Or happy.
Mr. Happy. I still talk to Mr. Happy on Facebook.
So where do I sign this? On my
Anywhere
name?
you want. Anywhere. No, like maybe the signature page. I just find some gaps in there.
Yeah, right on the front there.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the first couple of pages, I saw a little gap. I didn't have enough money to pay people to fill that spot, so.
Joe?
Yeah.
Joe.
Last time I checked. Yeah.
Thanks to my parents for their efforts. To Joni. That's a good, like, just for the efforts.
Is that what it said?
Yeah, thanks to my parents for their efforts.
Good, you tried.
Yeah, exactly. To Joni Dover.
Yep.
My ongoing inspiration to succeed, and my friends whom I still remember as I stand amongst the masters, like Hitchcock, Orson Welles, and Scorsese.
And I'm one of them now. I'm amongst the masters.
Thank you
like
all,
when people think the greatest filmmakers
Good for
of
you,
all
buddy.
time, they think Hitchcock,
Joseph Ronca.
Scorsese. Who else did I say?
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. Yeah,
Orson
yeah. They
Welles.
think, and then they think Joe
Yeah.
Ronca. They're like the four big ones.
There you go.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, he's getting up there.
Wow. Peter Duddy Baker. Dude, did you have this sun in going on? Like, was this...
That was-
Everyone had sun in.
That was
This is
my brother.
fucking crazy.
He dyed my hair. He like did the cap and pulled it through and did the highlights.
Dude, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This doesn't even look like you. This
know.
This doesn't even look like the kid I said, like the Disney character that I said I recognize. Like, this isn't him. Where are your
He's
glasses?
like financial analyst
Contacts.
Pete in there.
Wow.
Contacts, yeah.
Wow. So you got football 9 through 12, FBLA 9, track and field 11 and 12.
That was.
What were you doing? Were you running?
No, I tried shot put, which
Okay.
was an epic failure.
And then student council in 12th grade.
That's how
That I all lies. Like
Oh.
I think I was, but I never went.
Come in here, dear boy, have a cigar. You're gonna go far, fly high. You're never gonna die. You're gonna make it. Try.
gonna love you.
Pink Floyd. To my brother, I love you. Special thanks to M.A.
Mike Agee.
SP.
To Ma.
Steve, did it say SP?
Yeah. Steve
Pileggi.
Pileggi.
Yeah.
N.S.
Nick Schultz.
Nick Schultz. L.I.
L.I.
Lauren Israel.
Lauren Israel.
Yes. No, it
Is it
probably
really?
is. Yeah.
That was a guess.
I had a big crush on Lauren Israel in high school.
That's
put
how
that
you
out
got
there.
them. You shout them out in the yearbook.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's how I met my
M-
wife.
Saw that
I
happen.
put her initials in my yearbook quote. We've been married ever since.
M.W.
M.W. Who's M.W.?
Mickey Mouse. I don't know.
He's got a good club.
Mickey Mouse.
Mouse.
M.W.
Whose name starts with W?
Let's see if there's a W in your glass.
Shoot.
Find
Who's
there.
M.W.? I feel bad.
Mike.
Mark
Wise
Wilson?
Guy. Mark Wilson.
Mark
That's a
Wilson.
good name.
Get out.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mark Wilson.
Sorry, I didn't
indeed.
mean to sound so surprised.
That's okay.
Mark Wilson.
Really? Really?
The same one I know.
Yeah.
SD.
SD?
Yeah.
San Diego.
SD. Susan Dempsey.
Susan Dempsey. Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
And my
Wow.
peeps in A-Town and Double B.
Ambler and Bluebell. There it is.
Let's see who Joe forgot.
I didn't really put anybody. I remember writing that quote in science class the morning it was due. Like, I didn't
Nice.
put zero thought into that thing. I'm like, oh shit, we got to turn those things in for the yearbook.
Yeah, you've got a musical for 10. So you...
I was never in a music class. In
Oh,
school.
musical.
Oh, the music. Oh,
you were in
no, I was
MAME.
no, I was not in MAME.
Did you try out for MAME?
Nope.
Why did they think you were in a musical?
Was it MAME or Godspell? And I wasn't in that.
yeah.
I wasn't in
So,
that either.
Yeah,
but I'm
sorry.
just saying.
So, yeah, Godspell.
But no, I wasn't in that either. The only thing I did do, and maybe this got me in it, is they wanted a video like coverage of it for their like records or whatever,
Yeah.
and I shot a video.
You
for
shot it.
Yeah, so
I've been
maybe
trying to
that's
find
it.
that footage forever. I saw it once in my life.
Yeah.
I'm wearing tie-dye and a
Yep.
bandana on my fucking head,
Yep.
and I'm just like...
It's out there.
And then you've got video/media 9 through 12. I gotta tell you, so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Video, which isn't even a club or anything. There was no video media club or anything.
this like AV club nerd.
And there wasn't an AV club.
No,
which is weird.
No, they just labeled you.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah.
You got to give them something.
Peter,
Yes, sir.
the school deal.
Yeah, teaching.
How you feeling about that?
It's been a tough couple years.
Really? With COVID,
With
yeah.
COVID, yeah.
I can imagine.
Like I love the job, but it's like it's been like teaching virtually was like you relearn your job, and then let's bring some kids back and do hybrid, relearn everything again.
And try to keep them
How versed
interested.
were you in that shit? Like in like zooming type stuff?
Pretty good, but like I actually like during the whole pandemic, we teachers were able to go to their classrooms if they wanted to use the school technology to run their classes.
Okay.
Which was great because like I love my apartment, but it's small,
Mm-hmm.
and if I had to teach from my apartment day in and day out, would not have been an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. Like, I mean, you know, like a lot of the kids, like they missed really like formative years. Like if you think like the sophomores right now, they missed like becoming a high school kid. Like they missed like that graduation of middle school, going to freshman first day, and it's like there's definitely like a lag. Like kids are, and I've talked to like college professors, and they see the same thing at the collegiate level. Like there's definitely it's I don't want to say a delay, but it's like kids have missed out on how to be students and growing, and now it's like, okay, so well now we got to get that year back.
How do you do that?
Just slowly
Fake it.
reteach.
You can't say that, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Fake
Fake it.
You
But
did
it's-
it.
it's-
You were
it's
caught up
tough.
to 2022.
It is, yeah, right. Well done, yeah.
You just
So
remember-
that's
sorry.
tough, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is. It's a job that's
Yeah.
needs to get done.
Yeah.
So, and like aside from that, like I'm also, like I'm setting up the junior prom right now with another teacher. It's a lot of extra work that I've decided to put on my plate.
Yeah, so you're all in, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna head to Disney with the senior class this year.
Are you really?
Yeah. So right now, like myself.
You're
and
all
another-
in on this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Myself and the other teacher, we're the class advisors. So our class graduates next year. So we're going with this year's senior class, so we kind of get like a good beat on what's going to happen when we take our seniors next year.
Wasn't there a Europe thing too?
Is this,
There's another thing happening.
what school
yeah.
is this? Upper Dublin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Upper Dublin, yeah. So
And you said Maple Glen originally, yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So that's going, and it's just it's a lot of work. There's a lot of paperwork with special ed.
That's pretty
and
cool.
aside
We never
from all
took
that,
fun
yeah.
trips like that. Like our senior
No,
class
yeah,
never,
we didn't. Yeah, we didn't do anything like that our senior years. I mean, I think.
We got Mermaid Lake.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
we had
everyone
Mermaid
talks about
Party.
Mermaid
That's
Lake.
right. We had the Mermaid Party.
Yeah,
that's
it.
right.
Which
Can I
I
tell
almost
you,
wasn't allowed to go.
everyone in our Shady Grove, not everyone, but a lot of people in my Shady Grove yearbook, all like favorite memory, Mermaid Lake.
Wow, that's funny.
Nice.
When we do the podcast, a lot of people talk about like high school. They're like, "Yo, remember that high school senior year thing at Mermaid Lake?" And like everyone's memory is after leaving a class is
Yeah,
Mermaid Lake
yeah.
or Camp Canadensis in the Poconos.
Ah,
sixth
that
grade.
was I
We had
do
Peak.
remember that. Yeah, Peak. Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Our camp was peak.
Well, this has been great. This has been so
it
much
has
fun.
It's been
Right on.
Thank you for the breakfast
Yeah, you
And
got
the
it.
lunch.
and the lunch.
Well,
Cool.
thanks for having us.
Yeah,
That
thanks
was
a lot,
awesome.
man.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
That's it.
All right.
We did it.
That's it. There she goes.